Welcome everybody to season 1 of Break Up the Daily Grind. I am your host, Ben. Just in case you didn't know that already, my co-host Corey is across the table from me.
Howdy, howdy.
So we are glad you found us in the great big shenanigan abyss of the internet. So Corey, what's been going on lately?
Nothing much. Just been recuperating after that exam that I did, and so mostly just working and sleeping and going to the gym.
Oh, you're back on that. Back on that, huh?
We got some extra time now, so some extra time again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if you got extra time, I got some editing you can do. No, I can't give that shit away.
No, you can't. Not without some money.
Shoot. Well, you hear that, listeners? You need to start paying us so I can start finding somebody else to do this editing stuff. Nah, I'm just playing. Just playing.
While you're at it, we would appreciate your social security number and maybe your credit card information.
Yeah? I don't want your social security. The credit card number would be fine. I don't want your social security number. That's too much. Just a just a black card or a platinum thing that has no upper limit on it. That'd be all right. I need a new soundboard for my editing stuff. I need a new laptop for my editing is what I need. We were at Walmart today. I walked by. I was like, ooh, laptop.
Gimme.
Yeah. It probably was smaller than the one I have right now because it's Walmart. But, it looked pretty. It had a big screen.
And I know I wanted it.
I actually like this one. It does pretty good. I really don't want to get another one. As technology goes, sometimes you got to upgrade.
That one should still be good for a good while.
Yeah, well, see, I think if I were to get another one, I'd get one big enough to do all the stuff I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would use this one as the backup.
Yeah.
Or I would use this one as if I was, if we were podcasting and we wanted to do video or whatever, and we had somebody else that was with us, because you have your own laptop.
Yeah.
But I would use it as a secondary, like if we were going to do video.
I see.
I would have that camera right there. We could, station-wise.
Easy peasy.
Butter cheesy.
Yep.
So, good. Well, now you know what you get me for Christmas.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, wink, wink.
Wink, nudge, nudge.
So I guess before we start getting on today's topic, I think we probably ought to let you know exactly who is bringing this set of shenanigans to you.
Who's bringing the heat?
Yeah, who's bringing the heat, Corey? Tell us.
All right. This episode is brought to you by the Happy Household Podcast. Happy Household Podcast is a couple that wants to share the things in their life of challenge that has helped them make a home into a happy household.
That's right. And just in case you do not know, those release on Spotify every Friday. Every Friday.
There
Yep.
you go.
And we are on, just like us, they are on Facebook and YouTube and obviously Spotify, Audible, all the big cheeses. And we're there too. Mm-hmm. So while you stop by to check them out, stop by to check us out. Yeah?
Why not?
Yeah, you're right there. You can you can send us an email at mo9studios@gmail.com. And there, if you were to send us the email, you could send us a dedication because we ran out of them. And we can't seem to get you guys to send us an email with the dedication. We would really appreciate if you did. And I think the people that you do the dedication to, I think they'd like it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, we don't have a dedication this week. So, Corey, we'll just go right into the dad jokes.
Oh, boy.
Both feet neck deep. Let's go.
Head first.
Head first gets dangerous. Let's go feet first.
All right.
We can tell how.
Dip a little toe in there really quick.
Dip a little toe. Speaking of toes, right?
I don't want to hear anything about toes.
Oh, why do cows have hooves instead of feet?
I don't know why.
Because they are lactose.
Ah. Lactose.
Lactose. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do you call a can opener that doesn't work?
A can't opener?
A can't opener.
Oh
exactly.
my gosh.
Why did the bike fall over?
Why did the bike fall over?
It was too tired.
I like that one.
Like that one.
I like that one.
Your grandpa will get a kick out of this one. Okay. Why do ducks have tail feathers?
Why?
So they can cover their butt quack.
Okay, that one's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
I like that one. Those are some good ones too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so hopefully that put a smile on your face. I know I kind of get a kick a lot of those too. And now with that out of the way, we can get back to the topic, which I presume we're just going to do Reddits again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
If anybody out there listening, if you have any Reddit stories that you would like to have read, you can email those to us.
Yep.
We would enjoy reading them to you.
Or if you have any other topic ideas, if you want to hear anything else too, just let us know.
Yeah, yeah. That way we can have something a little different go on here.
Heck yeah.
We like these. Don't get us wrong.
Oh yeah.
We like to break it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was terrible.
Another dad joke to add to the list.
No more dad jokes to add to the list. So, okay, you got one all queued up there.
I'm ready.
Okay, well, rock and roll, buddy.
Cool. Am I the asshole for saying my boyfriend's friend can't visit us now that I'm pregnant?
Depends. Is it his?
My boyfriend has a friend who is currently doing the whole hashtag van lifing thing and living out of his van the past several months. This friend has been coming by our house a couple days a week. Each time he's here, he stays around 10 to 12 hours to use the shower, kitchen, washing machine, and Wi-Fi. I've been unhappy with the lack of privacy and the extra work for quite a while, which my boyfriend is well aware of, but have been putting up with it because the friend is down on his luck and he could use some help. However, now that I'm pregnant, I'm ready for this situation to end. I want to be able to lay on my couch without pants, not shove my giant tired boobs into a bra constantly, and talk about my private medical details with my partner without having to whisper about them in another room. I'm also just worn out in general, and the friend is generating so much extra work. He comes into our home after doing construction jobs and tracks in a ton of dust and dirt. Every time he showers, he somehow leaves a thick coat of body hair all over the shower.
What?
I have to clean up before I can shower again. After he uses the washing machine, there's sticks and leaves and sand all over the laundry room. Not only does he hog the kitchen when I want to cook meals sometimes, but he also leaves all his dirty dishes for me to deal with afterwards. Ideally, I'd have my boyfriend deal with the extra work since he's the one who's inviting the dude over, but with his busier work schedule, most of the housework falls on me. So, to me, it's a no-brainer that the friend finds somewhere else to be for a couple months to give me some privacy and a break from the added work. However, when I brought this up to my boyfriend and told him it was time to set a boundary with the friend, he told me it was first of all a very awkward and weird thing to ask his friend, and secondly a cruel and insensitive thing for me to request. He's willing to do so. He's willing to do so for me, but at the same time is making it very clear he thinks I'm a monster for even asking him to do this. Is it actually reasonable for me to put a no visitors rule in place for a few months or not?
First off, he soon to be dad is giving her flack because his buddy is crashing at their house. I was looking up stuff, but has this been going on for a long period of time?
So from what it said at the top, The past several months, this friend has been coming by our house a couple days a week. So like what's a couple? Like 2 days a week?
Yeah.
3 days at the most?
Couple is usually two.
Yeah. Each time he stays around 10 to 12 hours to use the shower, kitchen, washing machine, Wi-Fi, and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, she don't want him there. It's time to move on, buddy.
Yeah. I mean,
although, it's not.
You're just because you offer accommodations to somebody, and I'm not saying he's like abusing those accommodations,
no.
but it might be nice to say, if you're gonna do this stuff, can you at least clean up, the mess that you're making?
Yeah.
Like if you're leaving body hair in the shower, maybe clean up the body hair after you get done, so that there's less work for me.
He must be shaving in the shower.
I assume so, or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not sure with that situation. I can understand, especially with like where his wife's at, where she's at with pregnancy and stuff and everything, wanting that extra added bit of privacy. I could, and I, like I said, getting back to what I was saying earlier, I don't think you're a monster for offering accommodations to people, and then after a while you're like, this just isn't working out, or things have changed. I don't see any problem with their like either reworking the agreement,
right,
or just straight up being like, hey, this isn't a good time right now at this moment.
Right, I'm about ready to pop.
Yeah,
it's time for you.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's not unreasonable, because it is their space at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
I wonder if she probably doesn't work.
She might be on leave
maternity
right now.
leave?
Yeah, maternity leave right now.
I was gonna say if she was going to do her running on a certain day, say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I gotta do some running on such and such day. I'll be gone for 5-6 hours. Right?
Yeah.
Gotta do my grocery shopping, do my nails done, whatever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be gone for 5 or 6 hours. You can come over, use that stuff while I'm gone, and then just make sure you clean your shit up and get out, after that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I understand, if he's in a bad spot and unless he's decided to be the van life on purpose, right? If you decide to be the van life on purpose, then okay, it's time to figure something else out.
That's what she made it sound like at the beginning, is like he's currently doing the whole van life thing, or hashtag van life thing, living out of his van.
Yeah, like, but that doesn't state he might be not doing it on purpose, though.
No. Yeah. Well, because she did say later that it wasn't on purpose. He was on like down on his luck, like hard times and stuff. I feel like there needs to be more information too in his like
more rules.
Like, well, I feel like why is he down on his? What did he do? Did he like do something to get himself like kicked out of where he was currently living?
Did he lost his job?
Did he get fired? Like what got him into his current situation that he is in? I feel like that's important.
Yeah,
too, because like if he's one of those type of people that's like a mooch, he just like he just kind of
lost
glides
his
by
job because he doesn't want to work.
Yeah, or he's like got kicked out of his place because he's gross, or like he doesn't take care of things and
pick up the body hair out of the shower.
Yeah. Clogged it up, drowned the whole apartment he was living in.
Hopefully he was on the top floor, or on the bottom floor, I mean. No, I don't think she's the asshole. I think there should be more understanding. Especially if he's in a bad spot, I get trying to help him out, but, maybe only when the buddy's there, or the future father. I don't know. I don't think there's any good situation there.
I don't think so either. I feel like it's just a really, kind of like what the husband says, like a really just awkward situation, especially. And the worst part is the longer it goes on,
the more awkward
it's going to get. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Because I feel like there's a point in everybody's head where accommodations slowly turn into expectations.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, well, you've been letting me do this for like 8 months now. Why is it now all of a sudden a problem? I
got one here. One drunk night might have just ended my marriage. I never thought it would all come crashing down like this. I, 38 female, was at my best friend's wedding last weekend at this beautiful high-end country club. She's been dreaming about this day forever, and I was honored to stand by her side. But one of those things I didn't expect was for my husband, 39 male, to turn it into one of the most humiliating nights in my life. While I was with the bridal party getting ready, he was apparently doing God knows what. Best guess is the day drinking at a nearby bar. By the time he arrived at the wedding, he was already drunk. I noticed immediately slurring, stumbling. He wore a baseball cap to the ceremony. Texted through the vows and loudly criticized the bar. Cocktail hour was rough, but dinner was worse. At one point, I stepped away to call our 2 children to say goodnight. When I came back, he was passed out with his head on the table. People were staring. I gently tried to get him to leave. I offered to go with him. I called multiple share rides. He refused. And then he locked himself into the bathroom, and things escalated. Security got involved. He started screaming at me in the middle of the venue.
What?
Yeah, F you, I hate you. I want a divorce. Over and over in front of everyone. Jeez. That's a great place to have a breakdown like that. You know that?
Yeah, for real.
Right. I was mortified. Lady, I'm mortified for you. I stayed at a friend's house instead of returning to the motel. The texts that followed were worst. Accusations of cheating, more hatred, drunken nonsense. And now he's full of apologies, saying he'll quit drinking, that he doesn't know what got into him. But the truth is, this wasn't out of nowhere. He's had a problem binge drinking for years. It's just that this time, the mask came off all the way. She goes on to say, she goes, I think I'm done, as in really done. There's a deep sadness in the realization your marriage might be over. Not from a huge event or betrayal, but just a slow erosion of respect, stability, and trust, punctuated by one very public awful night.
Jeez, oh,
Yeah.
Pete.
I'm not sure if I'm looking for advice or just trying to get this off my chest, but I guess if you've ever reached the breaking point like this, how do you know you're really done? Lady, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if, first thing I would probably say couples counseling.
Yeah.
Bring in a professional. That's kind of way above my pay grade.
My thing is too is like at what point, is the line different for everybody, or is there a definitive line that should just like never be crossed, and is that the line right there? Because I know it's one of those things like I'll quit drinking, I'll get better, but that's like words are different than actions.
Well,
in that regard,
there was a woman that I know. Her husband was a drinker,
mm-hmm.
really bad one.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm done," and she took the kids and she left. But she told him, "You get your shit straight, then we'll see where we're at."
Mm-hmm.
If this lady can't do that, if she just has no desire to fix this at all, then the line might have already been crossed.
Yeah.
But I want her to know that, yes, your marriage is about you,
mm-hmm.
but you also have to understand there's kids involved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you think it's over, then it's over. But I would really like to make sure that you really think about how that's going to affect the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
The kids are an added.
They are always the victim
Yeah.
in that situation. You have to be happy. And if he can't do that, then by all means, right? The kids, they will be okay. But it's a very delicate situation. I think she needs to, first off, speak to a professional
Mm.
that knows more about it than what I would do, right?
Yeah.
But because a professional can talk to her, can talk to him, and work out all the details.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, there has to be actions. He has to be saying, you know what? If that's it, then he needs to get sober.
Yeah.
Get yourself checked into AA, go dry turkey, whatever it needs to be, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To get that taken care of. Prove to her that,
Show that you're willing to put in the effort.
Yep.
Yep.
because if you're not willing to put the effort in, then it's
I think you already
luego.
have the answer.
Yep.
Yeah, then I think
Yep.
that's what it'll come down to is you got to, if you really care and you want to prove that this is something that you want to like fight for,
Right.
then show that you care.
Yep.
Show that you want to fight for it. Show that you want to put in the effort by doing like all these things that will help better,
Right.
yourself and your relationship.
Yep.
You know.
And if that has to start with moving out, getting your own place for a minute, until he can prove that he's going to stay. Or you know what? Maybe he needs to find another place to live for a while.
True.
Right?
True.
I don't know. No, that one's. Sometimes you get a little too close to home.
I got another one. I think
Okay.
this one will be a good one. All right. Am I the asshole if my boyfriend made a meal and asked me how it was and I said, fine?
I hope there's more to that.
I feel like there is going to be.
Right?
So my boyfriend made chicken breast with some white rice and a salad with garlic, and we had some pickles and beetroots on the side from jars. And we, that sounds pretty good.
If I wasn't full, I might be a little hungry.
We sit down and he says, how is it? And I said, fine. There's nothing special. Everything tastes as it should. And he got upset and said he added extra garlic and the lettuce and soy sauce on the breast. We both said we couldn't taste that. And I said, I am not used to making comments about food like he is in his family. When we eat with his mother, everyone has to say something along the lines of how delicious, this is so tasty, yum, at every meal. And in my family, we probably find that behavior a bit fake. We just sit down and talk about other things. And if there was something new in the food, then then that would be a normal question to ask how it was. So he got really upset because I should have just said it's great or it's good instead of a normal and not very enthusiastic, it's fine. Everything tastes as it should. And he proceeded to pick his plate up and left to eat in the office. I don't feel like partaking in a family tradition. I don't feel as natural. I feel like I am forced to say something I don't care about or don't believe in. It's chicken breast and white rice. I mean, am I the asshole for not making a bigger deal out of a simple meal? Is he overreacting, or should I just be fake and oblige and say it's really tasty every single f***ing meal?
To answer her question, yes and yes. Yes, I agree that if that's what he needs is that validation, then by all means, you should be giving it to him,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Is he overreacting? Yes. So it's a yes and yes answer. Yes, he's overreacting. Not a lot, but
I mean,
if you know
feelings
the person,
are hurt.
yeah, if you know that person, you know that they're not necessarily all 3 shades of food connoisseur,
Yeah.
right? Then, because I'm not a 3 shade connoisseur type food either. Good, I'll eat it again. Hats off, right? That's the way I am as well. But if he needs more than that, then you don't have to go overboard and write like a, newspaper LA Times type food review, but give him a little something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is it really that hard to say, oh, wow, this is really good?
Yeah, I
or
can't
like,
taste the garlic at all. I mean, everything
Yeah.
blends well together.
Yeah, everything's great, super delicious.
Put
I mean,
that
and you're
recipe in the keeper box.
I wouldn't even really say it's fake. You're not lying.
No.
It is good. You're eating the food, you're enjoying the food.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's fake. I don't see any harm in commenting about it really quick. It probably was more hassle to write up this whole thing instead of just saying, hey, this is really good. And it's like a win-win situation.
Right.
You make, you feel good about yourself for complimenting something he did. Your boyfriend gets complimented, and you
he feels good.
Yeah, he feels validated and appreciated.
Right.
For cooking dinner and stuff. I just don't see like it's only a win-win if you just
Right.
like
you know
just
what?
compliment the food.
Send him my way. He can cook me and my family dinner every night. I'll compliment him all day long.
Yeah, I'll
Because
compliment
I
that.
hate cooking.
Oh, me too. Me too.
So
Oh
does
my
so does the
goodness.
old lady. She hates cooking too. So you know what? We'd be more than happy to compliment him if that's all it's going to take.
We'll take him on right now.
He might have to sleep with a dog, but hey, because I ain't got no more room. But he can come cook if he wants.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, he's overreacting a little bit, but she's also overreacting.
That's why I said yes and yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he shouldn't be looking for the validation from her because he should understand and know that that's not the way she works.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Although she should know that he needs that validation and give it to him as well. So, that's why I said yes and yes.
If this was such a big problem for you, this should have been figured out before you got together.
Well, they may not have been together very long.
No, yeah, that's true. It's true.
Right. Okay, here's this one. This one here is going to be weird. So, okay, this says, my husband hired a topless maid as a stress reliever. And honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm hoping there's a little more detail to this. He said, I've been drowning in work stress lately. My anxiety goes through the roof when our apartment's a mess. I hate cleaning, soul level hate it. But I also can't relax unless everything is tidy. It's a cruel cycle. So my husband decided he's going to do something special to lift my spirits. He tells me not to worry about the apartment this weekend. I'm thinking he's hired a standard cleaning service or maybe bribed his cousin. Nope. This man hired a topless maid as a surprise.
For himself?
No, I'll give you a little cut. It says, I'll read it. It says, he goes, nope. This man hired a topless maid as a surprise. Period. For me. Period. Oh, okay. This makes sense. Okay, I didn't guess I could. Plot twist. I'm bi. And he knows I find women attractive. And I really hate vacuuming. It was funny, unexpected, actually super helpful, and somehow very thoughtful. She was confident, professional, and the place was sparkling by the end. My husband looked so proud, like he just pulled off a surprise party for the year.
That's amazing.
The next line says bonus, and now I'm nervous. Bonus: the maid service is run by one of my old friends, someone I used to do SW stuff with during quarantine. I'm afraid to figure out what the SW stands for, because I think I should know what that means. But
I think it's sex work.
So not only was this a creative gift, but it was also him supporting a friend of ours and her successful business. Well, that was nice.
Nice.
I think.
It's underneath the deviancy, it's very nice.
Right. I know this probably isn't your typical marriage goals kind of story, but hey, every couple has their own flavor of weird.
You know what? You do you.
Yeah.
You ain't hurting nobody. You ain't doing anything wrong. Who cares? Just enjoy your life.
It goes on to say, ours just happens to include a dust-free living room and great boobs. Marriage, sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's sparkling clean. Sometimes it's both. Okay. I don't. That's not going to happen. I mean, it works great for these people. Great. More power to you. It's not my house. My house is only set up for one set of boobs, and that's not somebody else's.
Well, two sets, actually. you're set for when you get like really overweight,
Oh,
and
jeez.
old, and you're at the end of it, and you're just like, I just want to relax for the rest of my days.
Man boobs flying all over the place.
Moobs
Moobs.
everywhere.
Moobs everywhere. Moobs and boobs. Sounds like some sort of weird movie. Moobs and boobs.
Moobs and boobs. Anyway, back to the awful stuff.
There's no more boobs.
Am I the asshole for yelling at a 19-year-old and asking for him to be fired? I don't know. 19-year-olds are a lot of things, so maybe.
It could be. Who knows?
Remember how I was when I was 19.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I wanted to fire you before you got hired.
Throwaway account. I, 37 male, and my husband, 39 male, have been together 11 years. My husband owns a small bookshop and recently hired a boy to help him. This lad, I'll call him Joe, is gay. And while me and my husband very obviously have no issue with this, Joe seems to do things a lot differently to us. For context, both me and my husband are Irish immigrants to London. We grew up 20 minutes away from each other and went to the same very Catholic school. Oh man, this sounded like a rom-com. We aren't exactly flamboyant or outwardly gay, and don't exactly do PDA since that's how we were raised. On my lunch break from work, I like to visit my husband, bringing him records I think he might like and his coffee. Recently, however, Joe has started making comments. It started small with him saying things about queer joy. Okay. And how he loves gay couples, which we didn't mind at all. In all fairness, it's a fairly scary world for queer people right now. And I understand seeing a happy married gay couple means a lot for a kid. But then he started getting a little too comfortable for my liking. He started asking things like, who's the top?
Oh
and
my
calling
God,
us the F slur, jokingly. I think it's entirely inappropriate to be making those comments to his boss, but my husband told me to let it go. Joe calls us the F slur a lot, which I had brought up a few times, telling him calmly to not do that. But when he continued, I learned to let it go despite my distaste for it, since it didn't seem to bother my husband too much. But last Wednesday, I lost it. I was up by the counter when Joe came in. He immediately started blathering on about how effy we are, and while my husband chuckled awkwardly, I did not. Joe noticed this and said I was a stick in the mud and repressed. I was trying to keep my cool until he called me a phenine. I don't know.
Is it phenine or feline?
Phenine agate. and I
A phenine agate?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I lost it. For anyone who doesn't know the term, here we go. Perfect. Phenine isn't exactly a slur or anything, but it isn't exactly nice either. Me and my husband jokingly called each other phenines or patties from time to time. I wonder if that's like a British or like Irish thing.
Well, yeah, because he said something about
Irish immigrant.
right.
Yeah.
Because I know when you get across the pond and you have a friend that's over there, so I've been told. I've never been over there, and and I don't say this trying to, ruffle anybody's feathers, because I'm not very fond of the F word either. But I was told several times that when they refer to cigarettes, they call them fags.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, and I just know that that's what I had been told.
I mean, I've heard that
so.
term before.
Right,
Yeah.
So, if this kid's American, obviously, and they're from British, there might be some of that dialect might be a disconnect, because, a fag over here and fags over there are two, if that definition holds true, is totally sided, and unfortunately most of us Americans sometimes have a bad sense of humor.
Yeah.
So
No, I know
sometimes,
what you mean.
you know, when we feel comfortable with somebody, we try to act like they act sometimes, and it does more damage than good, right?
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily. The kid should have taken a clue already. 'Cause
Yeah.
you've told
yeah.
him. But
At this point, he's just being disrespectful.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
clearly.
you know, there's a good old phrase over here that says, "Don't let the door hit you, where the good Lord split you."
All right. Finian isn't exactly a slur or anything, but it isn't exactly nice either. Me and my husband jokingly call each other Finians or Paddies from time to time if we've something particularly Irish. I've never exactly viewed it as a very offensive word to me, but something about this English boy made me snap. I asked him if he thought that was an appropriate thing to say to his boss's partner and started shouting, telling him way out of line or way out of play, and if he wants to keep his job, he should buck up. I left to cool down a bit, and 30 minutes later got a call from my husband berating me, saying that Joe is crying and that he's just a kid. I do feel really bad since he's young, but I still think he needed to be knocked down a step or two. Am I the asshole?
Is the kid's 19?
Yeah.
Dude, make that bitch cry. Right? You're 19, man. If a few words do that to you, you knew you were wrong. That's why you're crying. You knew you were wrong. So you know what? You should have listened the first time. I don't have a lot of sympathy for somebody who's been told
Multiple
time
times.
again.
Like respectfully first,
Yeah.
and then suddenly,
This guy sounds like that he did all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether I agree with his lifestyle or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But at the same point, he is a human being just like the rest of us. He deserves the respect just like the next person next to me, right? And if you can't give that person the respect, then get away. Leave. Right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to cry
it's not
over
rocket science.
Yeah, if you're going to cry over somebody basically putting you in your place, then, here's a tissue, buddy. I don't have no sympathy for you.
I just think it's always interesting that people like this, they can constantly say disrespectful things, and disrespect people constantly, but the second they get disrespected themselves, all bets are off. It's like you're the monster. You did everything wrong. I'm the victim.
100% liberal right there.
So yeah, I think it was necessary. I think if you would have
sooner.
I think if you would have just immediately jumped to being like, no, like screaming at him and stuff like that might have been a little much. But he went out of his way to be respectful and tell him, hey, it's not cool.
Right.
You shouldn't talk to your boss's partner like that.
You shouldn't talk to anybody.
No,
especially, and you know what? I'm gonna have to disagree with the husband in this case, regardless of what their lifestyle is. That's your significant other.
Yeah.
If somebody talked to my wife, regardless of what my lifestyle was, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Nope, that's not going to fly. You're going to respect her or him because that's what I demand of you. You want to keep your job? That's the way it's going to roll. And you're only going to get one warning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell her, you know what, he's just a kid. No. You told him. And he's not just a kid. He's an adult.
So there is an update.
Okay.
And an edit. So the edit is, I see a lot of people making comments about the nature of the relationship between Joe and my husband. My husband has asked Joe to stop on my behalf before, but this isn't something that really bothers my husband. And to be fair, it's his workplace, not mine.
Yeah, but that's his partner.
Yeah. Well, that's his partner saying that.
Job work or not. Nope.
And then the update is, wow. It's a M. Night Shyamalan twist.
I don't know the reference. But
I know M. Night Shyamalan, he's like famous for having like crazy twists at the end of his movies and stuff that he produces.
Let me guess. The husband and Joe are having
No.
having sleepovers?
No.
Okay.
Joe is my husband's son.
What?
Yeah. Joe is my husband's son. I won't go too much into the details for both my and their privacy, but I had a major fight with my husband about why he was being so lenient with him and why he didn't have my back in this. We were shouting back and forth until he shouted something about blood being thicker than water. I shouted back about him being just some boy, and he stopped suddenly. Then he told me Joe is from an ex-girlfriend of his who's now unable to take care of him. So my husband picked up. He's been paying child support for years. We each have our separate bank accounts, so I didn't even notice. I'm contemplating separation and divorce. Someone I've known for 25 years became a stranger in 10 seconds. I physically got sick thinking back on those sexual remarks that he made to his father. My husband my husband went white as a ghost when he said those kinds of things, or would always go white as a ghost when he said those kinds of things, and that was possibly the only thing that he berated him for. But it still makes me feel sick all at the same time.
that is a wild twist.
Yeah.
Although I think I still stand the same. Kid or not, straight or not.
Yeah, the whole other thing is a rabbit hole that's
and you know what though? I mean, hats off to the man who's taking care of his kid.
Yeah.
Whether it was just a, one night oopsie, or him trying to figure out which way he wanted to go, hats off for taking care of the kid, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Blood is thicker. You need to put that boy in his place.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Especially, I feel like it's a lot easier when it's your own kid.
Yeah, you shouldn't have had no. Yes and no. It is easier to. I mean, if he had no connection to the kid at all, he was just helping him at the store, be like, "You're fired. Bye."
Yeah.
Right? Easy cheesy. Yes, it's a little more complicated because it is his son, and he's trying to get him to do, what he needs to do. But at the same time, you know what? You're my kid. You're gonna respect me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to respect whoever I'm with. Because if you're not, I'm going to knock your block off.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is it's easier to kind of, put those consequences into perspective as a parent because you have more control over the situation.
Right.
Like if he's doing something that you find disrespectful and you don't like, it's like, all right, well, you're not eating for 4 days.
I think that, well.
Oh, you earned yourself 5 more days locked in the basement with no lights. And you know what?
That doesn't work that way.
Don't even think that you're getting the towel to sleep on either.
That doesn't work that way.
Clothes? You think I'm made of money?
But although the comments he makes, maybe he wants to see him without clothes.
Good Lord.
I mean, there's no way I would dare, to make those kind of comments to my folks, regardless. My folks are heterosexual, but I wouldn't even make those kind of remarks to them, right?
Not even in a joking way.
No, that's just like
No.
That's my dad. Gross. Ew. No, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, when it comes to the marriage itself, yeah, he did kind of keep it from you, but did it ever really come up in the past? And all the time that you've been together, probably not, because they're thinking he's,
I more so think of it as him seeing it as like a double life. Why did my husband feel it was necessary to hide this from me?
Maybe he was ashamed that he had a kid.
Maybe
not because he had a kid, but he's, if he's happy as a gay man, he might be ashamed that he's had children because he is so happy as a gay man, right?
Yeah.
And unless you ask that kind of question to open that door, it may not get brought up.
Maybe, but I feel like in the context of somebody who's supposed to be your life partner and your husband and stuff, especially 25 years, and there's not one point where like the questioning of your sexuality ever came up.
25 years.
Yeah.
Remind me, where did the 25 years come from?
25 years. I'm contemplating separation and divorce. Someone I've known for 25 years became a stranger in 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And the kid was 19.
The kid was 19.
But it doesn't say they've been together for 25 years.
No, they've just known each other for 25 years. I just feel like
how did you not know that?
I mean, just think about
women.
Think about that though. Like, how would you react if your partner just like one day out of the blue is like, "Yeah, I have a kid." You've been with them for like 25 years, and they're like, "I have a kid," and the kid starts working with them. They didn't, say anything about it.
Question for context: did he even know the whole time that he had a kid?
It sounds like it because it says he's been paying child support this whole time.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and the reason that the other
right.
husband didn't know is because they have separate bank accounts and stuff.
Yeah, because he's 19, he wouldn't be paying anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless he was still in school.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like that. Just seems like such a big thing.
It is definitely a kick to the gut for
Yeah.
sure. But like I said, if he was embarrassed that he's had a heterosexual relationship,
and
I mean,
I don't think that's it.
because I'm trying to put my brain in his shoes, right?
Yeah.
And the only way for me to do that would be to say that if I had a gay lover,
Yeah.
at one point in time in my life, being the fact that I'm heterosexual, that was just the thing that I was exploring. I could see how I would feel a little embarrassed and ashamed of that.
Yeah.
Right? So
Especially if you claim to be a straight male.
So I try to reverse that and say, okay, if I was homosexual and had interactions with a woman, I mean, I'm obviously that's not me, so I'm not 100% sure, but I would think that other gay people might be not so nice about that.
I don't think so. I feel like the stigma would be a little bit different in that regard because like the normal, like when you think of like I don't really want to say normal because that sounds bad, but like when you think of the typical relations for like is like a guy and a woman,
right?
And so if you're like if you're a gay man and you're still figuring out like your sexuality and stuff and you sleep with a woman, I feel like that's going to be a lot less stigmatized because that's the social norm anyways than someone who's like, a straight man seeing like, testing the bounds to see if, they're gay and stuff. But that I might be totally off base there with
Maybe,
that too.
I don't know. It's I tell you what, if anybody has ever had that situation, tell us how you would think you feel.
Yeah.
Right? Send us an email.
I'm not gay, so I don't.
Neither am I.
I really can't speak for that.
I can only try to reverse my logic. I've always been straight. I've never had any thoughts about going that way, and I still don't. But you know what? If you do, and you have 2 cents to put it on it, email it to us. I'd be interested to see what somebody else would think about that.
Yeah, me too.
I guess I'll do this one. This is kind of short. It says, a hot guy hit on me, and my husband responded with fart lore.
What? What?
Oh, I'm going to read it here.
All
Let's
right.
find out.
I'm fascinated. You've hooked me.
On the fart part, didn't I?
Yeah, you've hooked me.
So yesterday, I was out running errands, living my usual mom chubby lady life, when this very attractive man started chatting me up in the snack aisle. Light convo, that must be conversation, all very polite until he asked if I'm single. And listen, I had to double check that he was actually talking to me. Like, sir, I have stretch marks older than your cologne. I told him, maybe a little too much joy. Nope, married, 15 years. He smiled, said I was lucky, and went on his way. I floated home feeling like Beyonce. Naturally, I told my husband the second I walk in. He gave this big grin, pulled me into a hug, and said, "I told you you're gorgeous." Cue heart melt. Then, still hugging, mind you, I asked him how his day went. And without missing a beat, this man says, "I farted so loud, the cat screamed from the other room."
Did you write this post?
I did not write this post. No, I didn't. Besides, I don't have a cat.
That's something you would say, though.
I don't have a cat.
I know you don't have a cat, but that's just something. That's something you would say. Oh, my.
This is not his work win. And not his annoying boss. Nope, the fart. And honestly, that's the kind of soulmate energy I signed up for. It does kind of sound like me and Amy.
Yeah, it does.
It's weirdly romantic, right? Like he knew what made me laugh more than anything else. I may have gotten hit on by a hot stranger, but I came home to this man who weaponized flatulence and still thinks I'm the prettiest girl in the room. I love this ridiculous man.
That's really wholesome.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that on?
That was on Reddit too.
Was it?
Yeah,
What
under
subreddit?
Confessions.
Oh, Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yep, Confessions. The very first comment that comes says, "That's the marriage we're all gunning for."
That's the dream scenario.
That's the dream thing. 100% couples that fart together stay together.
That could be on a shirt.
That does sound like a shirt, doesn't it?
Yep.
This other guy goes, "I literally farted after reading this. May you both live happily ever after." Oh. And we still have, that was pretty short and sweet. Now you have time for yours.
Yeah, I can.
Which I got a feeling, since this is messages.
This is the opposite.
This is going to have voices.
This one's. Oh, it is.
Oh,
and it's going to be
no.
bad too.
It's going to be bad. Oh, here we go.
Am I overreacting for calling out my friend for creepy, borderline pedophilic behavior?
No.
I feel like I'm going to get canceled just reading this.
You read it, you're going to be put on a watch list.
Yeah, exactly.
That's bad.
This is a message my best friend since childhood has sent me today. Oh, no.
And does it say how old this person is?
No. Not so far. I assume they're older than 18 or 21 because they included borderline pedophilic. So
well, I guess the best thing is get the deets.
I am very disturbed. At first, I thought this was some sort of joke, but he's very dismissive, and especially how he reacted to me asking if I needed to tell his girlfriend. He has a girlfriend. There might be hope for me yet. This man's getting girlfriends. Whew. This is very concerning behavior, in my opinion, especially since he thinks it's appropriate for two grown men to approach a young girl for fun.
Oh, and for the people that are, because we don't have video, he just used air quotes around fun.
Yeah. Man, I just saw this chick near our old school. Oh, she looked around 15, maybe 16. You'd like her, LOL. We could do a double approach. Oh my gosh. Is this also another dude? Oh my gosh. What the frick? She's 15, 16? I hope you didn't follow her, man. Do you even know her? Who was it? LOL? Gosh. No, don't LOL sounds so like you're egging him on.
Oh, for
like
sure.
No.
Dude,
oh my gosh.
No.
You're getting the voice as well, buddy. Oh my gosh. You No, don't worry. LOL. I've only done that. I only would have
What?
done. Yeah, okay.
Wait, rewind and
Let me
read that
read-
the right way before we all get thrown on a watch list.
No, don't worry. LOL. I'd only have done that if you were with me.
What?
Hold on. There's another page. Oh, gosh. No, I just saw her while driving around. I figured I'd let you know. Thought we could have some fun with her. Oh, my gosh. What the f***, man? You're being f***ing creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Get a grip. Do I need to tell your girlfriend? Dude, what the f***? I'm just trying to have some fun. What's wrong with you? I thought you'd be into it. It's not that weird. Jesus, calm down. Fine. Forget I said anything. God, you're such a... Oh my gosh. You need new
friends.
Pronto. What are you doing?
I would be looking at that.
Tough comment. The f*** do you mean follower? Does he normally follow girls he sees on the street? Everything about him screams predator. You'd probably be wise to cut him out of your life.
Call the authorities. Let them watch him. What the hell?
This man needs to be put on a watch list.
Yeah. And then some.
Someone's like, am I overreacting by thinking we could have some fun with her? Has some serious non-consensual vibes. You're definitely not overreacting by calling your friend out. And honestly, I do think his girlfriend deserves to know that she's dating a blatant pedo who might not value free and ongoing consent. That's just me, though. I would want to know if I was dating someone like that, so I could immediately stop dating someone like that.
Emergency exit stage left.
Yeah. Mic drop. That's all I got for this one.
We'll leave it at that, because that one was... Wow.
That was wild.
And I thought, well, we went from one extreme, we went from happy boobs to pedophile.
You kind of stuck with the more wholesome side of things, and I just kept going more and more deranged.
Maybe we should put you on a watch list too, Corey. You like bringing up that pedophile shit?
I'm sorry, controversy is interesting. Or
It
entertaining.
It's dramatic, at
It
least.
is dramatic, yeah.
So, I think before we end up going down a rabbit hole and really getting in trouble here, I think we ought to just wrap it up right there.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
So I think for everybody who listened to this wholesome, dark, whatever you want to call it, discussion for today, I hope that you stayed till the end. I think. I don't know. I don't know if I want people to hear that last or not, but I hope you had fun with it. I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope so too. I hope we brought some laughter and smiles to your day.
Yeah, we definitely hope that we broke up your day for sure. And,
Yeah, I hope it was interesting.
Oh gosh. And we hope that you come back next week for some more of the same. Maybe not more of that, but more of whatever this is. Remember that you can like, follow, share, comment on Facebook and YouTube. We would greatly appreciate that. You can give us stars on Spotify. And I was just told just this weekend that they can comment. You can comment on Spotify. I don't know how you do it, but I have a hard time getting that information back. So if you do message us on Spotify and I haven't returned any of your comments, I apologize. I have not seen them yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. So it might be just as easy to email us or message us on Facebook or even YouTube. And that seems to be the fastest way for stuff to get back to us. And Spotify, and if I didn't say it, stars.
Yes.
We like stars. 1, 5, we don't care.
Just give them to us.
Yep. We'll take them one at a time. I'm not proud. And if you like we said earlier, like Corey said earlier, if you have a topic idea, we would be down to
Down
look
to
into that.
clown.
Yeah.
Down to clown.
Yeah, we're down with the clown. We would love to hear from you. So, with that, I think we're going to leave you with this thought of the week.
Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Confucius.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice. And with that, we will see you next time.
Later, skaters.
Bye.